Hello everyone，大家好，
嗨，你好。
小安你好。Yeah, I see a lot of old friends and some new friends. So this is China Institute Long-Term Learn 午间中文 program. So feel free to open your audio so to say hi to everyone. 大家好. So we just give another 30 or 1 minutes to let everyone in the room so we can start our program today. Hello, Gag. And hello,
姐，你
Karen.
好，你好。
Ni Yeah, always good to see old friend and new friends here. Yeah, feel free to say hi to everyone in the chat box or share where are you or something you want to share with others. Something interesting. Okay, I would like to let everyone know that our program will be recorded for the whole session. So feel free to open your video or you can feel free to close it. So it's all good for us. Yeah, you can type where are you now and your name. Okay, Eric from Portland. So my name is Yongqiang Lin. I'm in New York now. 还有 Chinatown from New York's Chinatown. Hello，欢迎大家。Yeah, if you have any questions, anything you want to share, you can just feel free to post on the chat box. Okay. Okay, so let's start our program. So hello everyone. My name is Yongqiang Lin. I'm at China Institute now. Actually, I'm a guest faculty here. I'm from East China Normal University. So we have a lot of old friends here, so we know each other. And today for this session, my colleague Chen Xi Wen is here with us, and also with the teacher Piao Lao Shi. So before we start our today's program, I would like to share some news from China Institute Gallery. So currently we have a new exhibition just started from this week. So at China Institute Gallery. So the title is Internal Offerings Chinese Racial Bronzes from the Minneapolis Institute of Art. So, and this exhibition will start from this week and March 6th until July 13th. So if you are in the New York City or you travel here during this time, welcome to stop by to see the exhibition. So the exhibition will showcase one of the world greatest collection of the ancient Chinese bronzes outside of China, the Minneapolis Institute of Art. So in this exhibition, we have over 70 objects from the Minneapolis Institute of Arts, and it has a lot of bronzes aged vessels for the food, the wine, and also a lot of some animal sculptures. Actually, all of them are viewed for the first time in the New York City. So, and they chose the best one to travel here to show it here in the New York City. And yesterday I had a chance to visit there to see the exhibition there. And one of the most thing I like the most is the bronzes the bronzes inscriptions. They shows a lot of bronzes inscriptions in this exhibition. So you can see a lot of Chinese character or the first age, the very earlier stage of the Chinese character. So it's very interesting. So, and if you don't know anything, it's just a symbol for you, but actually it has some meanings. It shows why this bronze vessel is made or who owns it. So it's very interesting. So if you have opportunities, feel free and welcome to see this exhibition. Okay, yeah. Let's start this program. So as usual, the first part will be led by Chen Xi. So to share with you the Chinese radical related to food. So and also any questions, feel free to post in the chat box. Okay, Chen Xi.
好的。Hi, hello everyone. I'll share my screen first. Okay, could you see my screen?
Yes, 可以。
Okay. Hello everyone, I'm Chen Xi, and today I'm gonna to share with you the Chinese radical, 火, a character that has been an essential part of Chinese language and culture for thousands of years. Let's begin with how 火 has evolved over time. The character 火 has existed for over 3,000 years. It first appeared in aurical bone script, where it looked like a drawing of real flames. Over time, it became smoother and more structured in bronze script. In clerical script, the strokes became wider and flatter. And finally, it reached the modern form we use today in regular script. Though its shape changed, 火 has always represented fire and heat in Chinese writing. Then let's look at some common characters that use this radical. You can read after me. 炒,
炒
炒,
炒
炒,
烤
烤.
烤
Very good. 烧,
烧
烧,
烧
炸,
炸
炸.
炸
很好. 炖,
炖
炖.
炖
Yes, very good. And notice how all these words relate to heat and cooking. The 火 radical tells us that these words involve fire or temperature changes. Last, I want to share with you a cultural expression in Chinese. The idiom 火烧眉毛 means fire burning your eyebrows. Of course, we don't actually set our eyebrows on fire. This idiom describes something extremely urgent, so close that you feel the heat. This phrase is often used to talk about a last-minute stress, like upcoming events, tight deadlines, or emergency situations. In traditional Chinese thinking, fire is a powerful force that must be controlled. If it gets too close, it becomes dangerous, just like an urgent problem in life. And you can read after me. 火烧眉毛,
火烧眉毛
火烧眉毛.
火烧眉毛
Very good. And here is an example. 工作快截止了。
工作快截止了，
别再拖了。
别再拖了
火烧眉毛了。
火烧眉
毛了
Yes, very good. Okay, thank you for listening. 谢谢大家。
Okay, 谢谢晨曦. Thank you very much. So we have learned a lot of Chinese character related to the 火, the fire. So you know the meaning of the fire, the radical fire. So you can guess the meaning of the Chinese character with this radical. So it's very, everything is connected, is related, very interesting. Okay, so I'm turning the camera to Piao 老师. So let's follow her to continue our Chinese food journey. So now we are going to the northeast China. 朴老师。
谢谢林老师. Thank you. Hi everyone. I'm glad to be here today. And very nice to see everyone here. Today I'm going to share about food in Yanji at Northeast China, and I will start to share a slide. Is it available to everyone? Can you see it?
Yes.
Yes. Thank you very much. So today I'm going to introduce food in Yanji, which is in Northeast Asia, Northeast China. Before I explain more about this region, this place, and the food there, I would like to ask you to make a quick guess. There are 3 food on this slide. Could you guess like which one would be most likely from this region?
火锅, the hot pot.
The hot pot, which one? Could you say middle, right, or left?
Left.
The most left?
对.
Left is 大一点.
Okay, this one. That's a good guess. Even though it's not a 火锅. Can everyone else guess what it is?
我好像看到了薯片。
You mean on the most left corner, this one?
Yeah.
Okay, that's also very interesting guess. It is actually a fried pork, but it is from this region though. So can everyone guess what is this bowl of the food in this bowl next to the pork? Any try? Anyone want to try?
Good noodles. The rohan in the chat box says.
Oh, I see. Thank you. Yeah, it is a cold noodle. It looks like hot pot, definitely, but it is actually completely the different temperature. It is a cold noodle. And in the middle, it is actually also kind of cold noodle, but from North Korea. It's a very Pyongyang style cold noodle. And on the right, it is a stew of the ham, noodles, tofu, mushroom, rice cake, sausages, and then there's a cheese on top, and which is actually army soup from South Korea. And this kind of soup, this kind of food is, you can see actually has a lot of Western influence. For example, the ham and cheese. So it is actually a product, a food that is actually from a Korean War, and then it is very influenced by the American Army there. So as you guess, some of you guess, on the left is actually the food from Yanji at Northeast China. And this talk today, I'm going to explain why this food is a very symbolic combo of food in Yanji. First, I want to show you a map of where Yanji is. So Yanji is in the Northeast China and on the border between China, Russia, and North Korea. And it is the capital of the Yanbian Korean prefecture, and where a lot of Korean communities live there, and since the 19th century. And it is in the eastern Jilin province. And Jilin province is one of the 3 northeastern provinces in China, between the Heilongjiang province, which is very close to Russia, and then Liaoning province. It is peninsula, very close to, more closer to Beijing. And on the border, Yanji is also very close to the border between China and North Korea, which is divided by the Changbai mountain ranges. You can see on the map here. And then also on the east, most east part is called the Hunchun, which is also a small town of the Yanbian Prefecture. And there is a point that is actually between the three different countries, which is Russia, China, and North Korea. And it is a very, it became a tourist spot because of its border of the three countries. And so this is the Yanji, and this part of the sea is the Japanese Sea, Japan Sea, Sea of Japan. And so first, I would like to introduce this cold noodle that we just saw on the cover page. This photo is taken by my friend when she visited me a couple months ago, and that was her second time visiting me in my hometown. Oh, by the way, I'm from Yanji, so I'm actually very excited to introduce Yanji food to you today. And when my friend Shi visited for the first time, she had this cold noodle, and then she really liked it. And she even want to she couldn't finish the soup, and she even want to take out the soup, the leftover. And then I stopped her just in case the soup would not taste as good. But she really regretted she didn't finish the soup that day. So second time when she visited me, I took her to the cold noodle restaurant again. We usually eat this cold noodle in the restaurant because making it actually took a lot of time and a lot of labor and effort and time to make it. So there are so many this kind of cold noodle restaurant in Yanji. And we had it, and then we really like it, and we always forgot to take photo before we start to eat. So this is in the middle of we eating it. And you can see the noodle is kind of very dark color. It is made of the buckwheat, and it is also mixed with the wheat and acorn flour, as well as the potato starch in proportion. So the noodle is actually very chewy and elastic and not easy to deform. And also, it is very good because of these different grains. It's actually very good for your stomach ache. So people even with the very weak digestion is still a delicacy for them, and then they can eat it with the confidence. And then other than the buckwheat, there is a couple slices of the beef on top of the noodle, and also some cabbage kimchi made of the cabbage and then pepper. That is people usually dry and then ground it at home, and then they are also put on top of the noodle some julienne cucumber, as well as a boiled egg, or sometimes they fry the egg as a very thin slices, very thin fried egg, and then cut into the very thin strips. And the soup is actually also very important for this dish. The soup is made with the beef. It's a beef soup, but sometimes some places also add some like a radish kimchi water, which is called dongchimi. And so it is a mix of the kimchi water as well as the beef soup. So so it is very very like a special food, and then its history is actually coming from the Korea Peninsula. It used to be the palace food in during the Joseon era, Joseon time, but it is actually, there are many different styles in different places, and then the most famous one is Pyongyang style, and it is actually being served in when the North Korean and then South Korean president met a couple years ago, and it is very symbolic food for Korean identity. And also, it is even though it is very popular during the summer because it has a very ice soup, very cooling effect, but it's actually a winter food in the history, because at that time only in the winter you can make this kind of very iced soup. So it is it is very related to geography of this region, because in the winter, there are a lot of snow, the temperature is very cold, and people can store a lot of their food outdoors and also make kimchi outdoors, and also store them in either outside in the backyard or in this kind of the well. Look like, but it is actually a cellar for storing the different kind of food and kimchi as well. And on the left, it is actually in my grandma's old house yard, and I took this picture a few years ago when I visited there, and then there's no food there, but it's still there. I think it is nowadays there are a lot of electricity even in the village, so people don't use it as much, but if people still live there, people still use it very often. And one thing that people like to store a lot is the potato in the winter, and then you can see this kind of frozen potato actually make a very like traditional food for Korean people in Yanji, which is called the gamja bense. It means like a frozen potato dumpling. So the powder is the wrapper of this dumpling is actually made of the wrapper is made of frozen potato starch. That's why it is dark. And the filling is actually made of the kimchi and the meat, usually the pork. And then if you just use the potato that is not frozen outside, you can make this kind of potato pancakes on the left side. And there are other people, the dumplings in Korean family are made of this kind of frozen potato starch, but also a lot of rice dumplings. As you can see on the left, on the right half of on the plate is actually the dumplings, steamed dumplings that the wrapper is made of the rice. And there are also many rice cakes that in Korean household. And they use different kinds of the grains as well as vegetables, as well as some wild vegetables to make the to mix with the starch to make the wrapper of these cakes. And as nowadays more vegetable is available and transported to the area, so actually you can make more colorful like a rice cake here. As you can see on the left, different color actually could be made. This purple color could be made of the ube, and this green color is made of the a kind of vegetable that people collect from the mountains called chu. And some yellow color is made of the pumpkin. And you can see this kind of new tradition is started to be adapted to the new to younger people as well for their like birthday cake. And all this birthday cake is rather than made of the like chiffon cake with the cream, instead it is made of the rice cakes. And this kind of rice cakes on the right, you can see there's a like half moon shape rice cakes, and inside it is the red bean. And then the purple, the brown circle is made of the rice and different kinds of the nuts and the beans. And other than, so rice is actually very important in the Korean cuisine in Yanji. And you can see people put rice into the peppers to steam them to make the pepper rice. And then in the middle is the rice in the intestine of the pig's intestine with the blood, and then steam it to make the rice sausage called sundae. And this kind of pepper rice is called pepper sundae, the gotsu sundae. And then this is on the right, it is actually rice in a pollock fish, a kind of pollock fish called mingtae in Korean. It's a very specific pollock fish that is very popular in the region. And other than rice, meat soup is also in everyday consumption. For example, for the breakfast, people in Korean household like in Yanji like to eat with the beef soup with rice with some side dishes, the banchan, and also for some specific like season. When it is very hot, people actually like to take the chicken soup. It is a very specific young chicken, and then stuffed with the sticky rice and the ginseng, as well as the berries, as well as the jujubes to make this soup. It took a very long time to stew this, and even though it's very hot, but local people like to eat it when it is the hottest days starting from the July to eat it, and then believe this kind of eating on this hottest 3 days, 三伏天, on the calendar can help you to defend your body from the diseases for the whole year. And another very important component of the Korean dishes in Yanji is the wild veggies that are collected from the mountains. These are 2 dishes. Like recently, my mom made from the frozen wild veggie that she harvested from mountains, but also frozen for the after the summer. So on the left is actually the leaves from a type of tree called the pepper wood. It doesn't have the pepper on the tree. Instead, the flavor is a kind of spicy, so people call it pepper wood. And my mom fried it with some garlic and the scallions, and then with some salt and soy sauce. And on the right is a cold dish of another wild veggie she collected from the mountain called chu. And then this is actually also used very similar to Shanghainese people, like in the Eastern China, like they use for a kind of sticky rice, like dessert. But in our region, if we collect it, we would like to use, if it is very tender part, then we use it for food. And if it is a little bit older and bigger, then people use it to pick it, dry it, and use it for soaking the feet for the medicinal effect. And also another kind of wild veggie that people like to eat is the fern. And this is the fern that my mom dried from last year. She picked in the May and then dried it for winter, and later whenever they want to eat it. And you can just soak it in the water before you stir fry it, or making cold dishes as banchan as well. And picking mushroom foraging is also very popular in Yanji. And in the middle is a kind of mushroom that my mom like picked last year, and then she dried it. You can see she dried it and then showed it to us on the left. And another very popular mushroom from this region is the matsutake, which is also very expensive and famous. And then as Yanji is actually a very big export for this kind of mushroom to the Japan, Korea. Even the local people also consume it in autumn, but its high value actually motivated people to sell it a lot and then do the business on it. And other than the veggies and mushrooms, lastly, seafood is also very famous in Yanji cuisine. And this seafood is actually mostly from the Russia and North Korea. And they are famous for very big size and a lot of meat, as well as very cheap price compared to other parts of the world. And then you can see rice is very important part of the everyday cuisine. So everyday food. So people actually put the rice into the body part of the to eat with the sauce, the roll of the crabs, and then mix it with the seaweed to make it more flavorful. And a lot of shells, other kinds of shells as well for roasting it or steam it. And so that is a quick introduction of some important parts of the Korean cuisine in Yanji. And then I want to introduce like why there is a fried pork that usually go with the cold noodle in Yanji. And that is actually really matters with the whole region that Yanji is located. And Yanji, all these veggies that we just saw is actually very depend on the geography and climate. And then a lot of mountains in this region, especially Changbai Mountain. And also in Heilongjiang, this area is actually a lot of mountains. But a very important part of this fried pork dish is because of the Heilongjiang, this area where a lot of very close to Russia, has a lot of Russians there. And this pork dish is actually due to their influence at the beginning of the 20th century. And as well as another history of the migration of the people from the Shandong and the Hebei, which used to be at that time called Zhili. And this migration of the people, a lot of people, millions of people from the Shandong, this region, to the northeastern provinces, which used to be no people live there because of the Qing's ban on the people's settlement there. At that time, northeastern provinces are considered as the homeland of the Qing dynasty rulers, so that they actually forbid people other than the banner people, which is which include both Han, Manchu, as well as Mongol banner men living there, which is their social organization as well. They are not necessarily military, but most of them actually also have the function of the military purpose. But in the 1860s, actually Qianlong Emperor actually go against what he used to forbid. Actually, a lot of people to start to settle there in order to deter the Russian invasion to this area. So that migration actually made a lot of people from the Beijing and Shandong area to migrate to the northeastern cities. And then this fried pork dish is actually one of the very good example of this migration history, how people actually brought the Shandong food cuisine called Lu Cai to the northeastern part. So this fried pork in vinegar sauce actually being invented in the 1910s when there are a lot of the railway construction and as well as trades and business going on in Harbin in Heilongjiang provinces. And this kind when it is invented, it's actually called 锅爆肉. Means like it's being fried twice and then using the sauce to fry it very quickly with a big fire. But the Russian pronunciation of this term actually made it change it to the 锅包肉. And this in Harbin, there are so many not only Russian people but also Russian restaurants, and then a lot of flavor local Lu Cai, the Shandong cuisine flavor is actually started to be influenced by the Russian Western food style and the flavors at that time. And this dish is actually fried pork. You slice the pork tenderloin very thinly and batter it to the starch and fry it twice in the oil. And then you make the sauce of the vinegar and the syrup as well as sugar to make this very amber colored sauce, and then to mix it a little bit with the ginger and the garlic as well as some people do the carrots as well as a garnish. And this flavor is, and some parts actually even put the ketchup sauce to make it more taste more popular with the Russian people at that time. And this dish is made by the Zheng Xinwen, who is actually a cook, a chef from the Beijing, and served in the head of official of the Harbin at that time. This is actually a kind of the aristocratic 官府菜 at that time. And this dish is a new invention developed from a Shandong cuisine called 焦溜肉片. And this dish is actually has more flavor of the salty flavor, but in order to catering to the new guests who are mostly Russian in the officer's house, so the chef Zheng actually adapted into the sweet and sour flavor. And there are also this kind of Beijing and Shandong cuisine influence on the northeastern food. Another good example is the Manchu dessert called snow-coated red bean, which is look like the shape looks like a cloud or a peach shape, and then it is a soft and the color looks like cloud, and then it is actually made with egg white, and then the egg white is actually mixed with the starch to as a batter, and then to put the red bean in the middle and then fry it in a very specific temperature and carefully, and you can make this dish. And there's in order to make it more like the snowy, there are some sugars being like sprinkled on the top. So this is actually a palace dish in Beijing during the Qianrong era when he already ascended from the emperor seat. But this the chef the chef who made this dish in the palace, when he went back to the hometown in Jilin, he actually left the recipe there, and this dish become very popular in the Northeast China. So nowadays, actually, people started to think about this dish as a Dongbei, like a northeastern food. Karen, do you have a question? I saw your hands up.
Did you say this is fried?
Yeah, it is fried.
Really? Deep fried?
Yeah, it's deep fried, but the temperature need to be very specific, very low, I believe.
Very low, okay. It doesn't look
yeah.
fried, so okay. Thank you. 谢谢.
No problem. And this is the history of how the Yanji Korean noodle is actually meat with fried pork. But more recently, actually there are other changes in new addition to the Yanji food or Yanbian food is the Yanbian barbecue. It's actually in the late 1980s and early 1990s. The Xichang, the Uyghur barbecue of lamb skewer were very popular nationally. And then there are a lot of street food in the night, like of this kind of barbecue style, like people really enjoy after the work. And then at that time, a lot of people started to work and live in the cities. Very speedy urbanization happening in Northeast China as well. So this kind of barbecue is actually started to influence very popular in this region, and then Yanji people, Yanbian people started to draw on it and then to infuse their own characteristic, like the sauce, and also more food like a rice cake. They even roast barbecue other than the different kinds of meat, but also not only the lamb, but beef, as well as different parts of the cow, to make the barbecue. And all this sauce is like a lot of chili sauce and sesame sauce, as well as a juicy like chili sauce, is a very Yanbian style barbecue. And you can see those kind of spices is very popular everywhere in the Yanji's market. And later in the 1990s, there's a war in Northeast China. There's a lot of the laid off because of the social economic reform of the national state-owned like enterprises in China, and a lot of people got laid off. And then people started to need to have less economic capacity to buy food or going to the restaurant and dining in a restaurant. So they started to, if they need to eat out, they actually need to be more economical. So this kind of one dish, one bowl with both noodles, the staples with veggies as well as meat is getting very popular in Yanji as well as other parts of Northeast Asia, Northeast China, and which is like this kind of guoqiao noodle, rice noodle dishes, and the malatang, which is supposed to be Yunnan and the Sichuan southwestern style dish, is actually being localized by people there. And you can see it has it's the same idea, but they use the different ingredients, like a lot of dry tofu, and then dried tofu skin, and also they use a lot of sesame sauce on the malatang, and then also the rice noodles and some meatballs, so that you can have everything, but you don't have to have a lot of dishes on the dining table to pay for. So this is a new social change. And then more recently, in the last like 5 to 8 years, actually Yanji suddenly become very popular on social media, and there are a lot of food tourism actually happening because people like to try Korean food, but they don't, if they don't want to go as far as South Korea, then they come to Yanji to experience a couple of days of the Korean food. So this kind of South Korean style barbecue is very popular. And then also a lot of migration happened, migration for economic reason happened from Yanji to South Korea. So they work in restaurant, and if they make enough money, they come back, actually start their own business and also do this kind of Korean style food, South Korean style food in Yanji. So you can see on the left, there's a lot of restaurants. It's all restaurants here and with these billboards and a lot of tourism for the food, as well as for that billboards has most of both like Chinese and Korean at the same time, which becomes a tourist spot as well. I think so. To sum up, So food in Yanji represent both the regional flavor and the ethnic tradition, as well as social changes. For regional flavor, it developed from the Shandong cuisine due to the migration of the crossing into the Guangdong. Guangdong means like the east of the Shanghai Pass, which is the eastern part of the Great Wall, and people need to pass there. One of the migration route is passing there to the northeastern 3 provinces from Shandong. And then that Shandong cuisine tradition actually and cooking techniques really become the foundation of the northeastern food, Dongbei dishes. But it also very rely on the local produce, wild animals, veggies, as well as a lot of different kind of food material from the mountains, and then it's frozen rivers as well. And the ethnic tradition you can see as a homeland of the Manchu rulers of Qing dynasty. A lot of Manchu food still influenced their Mongolian, because it's very close to Eastern Mongolian. So a lot of Mongolian like food dishes was also there, but also a lot of Chinese, Korean, and Russian and Japanese, because Yanji as well as northeastern actually being under the Japanese colonial colony, as a Japanese colony in the 1930s. And lastly, the social changes is the very speedy urbanization, but also the economic changes and a lot of migration, even in recent years, as well as a new economy of food tourism really created a more expanded Yanji food menu a lot. So lastly, it's a Yanji airport, and I think this picture is interesting because they are like English, like Chinese, Korean, Russian, Japanese, different languages, and also it's a welcome message to all of you if you want to try this food. And lastly, thank you. And then please leave any comment and questions if you have any. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. 谢谢朴老师. Yeah, I have learned a lot so about the Northeast China food. Actually, I remember that the Northeast food restaurant is very popular in China. So you can see a lot of the the restaurant in actually around the China. So it's very popular. So I also know that the Northeast food is well known by its the large portion. So 1 plate or 2 plate can serve 2 or 3, 3 or 4 peoples. So that's very famous, very known by Chinese people. So yeah, actually my hometown is in Shandong. So while my grandparents now they are living in Jilin province, so which is in the northeast part of China. So I think they immigrated to that part from my hometown in the last century. So that's just what's happened, just like Pilar said, so what's happened in the last century. And it also brings the Shandong food to the northeast China. So that's very interesting. Thank you, Pilar. So now if you have any questions, you can just raise your hands or open your mic to talk to Pilar and everyone.
Okay, this is Karen. I have a question for Piao Lao. So you said that they hunt wild animals. What kind of wild animals are there to be? Do they eat? Are they like big game animals like deer, like we have here in Maine, or are they like small animals? Or
yeah, thank you for your question. That's a very interesting question, and I'm glad I could have an opportunity actually to explain it a bit. So deer is a big animals like deer. Deer meat is very popular, right? And then also a lot of deer parts is like antlers. The blood from antlers is actually very important medicinal food in this region as well. And also, I remember I heard not in my when much earlier, like my parents' generation, they even actually started use like a lot of like tiger. There are a lot of tigers in the mountains used to, so they actually use a lot of sometimes tiger meat to actually do some healing. And also they're smaller one, right? Like there's a peasant, like the kind of birds as well. And what else? And I think that also the fish is a very big important part of here, like fish hunting, as well as I said, like other like smaller like smaller ones. Like I could not think of the name right now, but there are definitely a very big variety of it. And
I'm just
and
curious.
also,
sorry to interrupt. Do you have moose there too?
I don't think there's a moose. I never
Okay.
saw a moose, and I never heard any story of it either. So
Okay.
I'm not sure about the distribution of moose. Is it actually specific to a certain area of North Korea, North America, or?
I'm thinking. So at one time, I think I saw in a book that they showed moose in like China, and I think
really?
it was an era in printing because I've never seen it again or any mention of it. So I was just curious since you've lived there. So just curious.
Yeah.
Thank
That's
you.
not. Yes. Thanks for that information. Thanks. Any other questions? Oh, Lin Lao Shi helped me with the. So, is there any difference in
the
food
chat box
among? Yeah, thank you. Among Yanji, North Korea, and South Korea. Yeah, I think that's a very good question, right? I want to go back to the first slide, right? Like their food, there are a lot of like shared food, a lot of banchan, a lot of side dishes, kimchi, and then also the bibimbap, right? Like it's in different three like region, but also as the army stew in South Korea is a very specific history that for South Korean like has the American army there, right? Like that's why that dish is never served in, it's not served in Yanji or in North Korea, definitely, right? Like and for Pyongyang, like there are a lot of like North Korean in South Korea actually have that kind of open restaurant to serve Pyongyang the Pyongyang cold noodle, but it's actually the way of making it, it's origin from the North Korean Pyongyang region, northern part as well. And Yanji food, I think a lot of food is actually very more influenced by the North Korean style because a lot of migration is more from the North Korea to the Yanji, to the Yanbian. But I think there's a lot of new invention as well. And Xiang's question is,
已经有人回答我说，那个须的蔬菜可能是龙须菜。
Oh, you mean the veggies that I showed like as a
The green one.
Yeah, the cold dish, right?
The green
I
one.
see. Yeah, actually, I don't know the Chinese name because those are the veggie that my mom picked, and she only told me the the Korean name, like how local people in Yanji call it.
所以你说的那个须是韩语的。
对的，it's a Korean.
难怪我听不懂，不知道是什么汉字。
Yeah, I use the local language to say it. I'm sorry, it's not Chinese. But I think like it's very similar to, as I said, Shanghai people use the for qingtuan, and that one is I think called qinghao, something like that. It's a kind of hao. Yeah. Yeah. Any other questions? Thank you for your comments, and thank you, Xiang, for your for trying to figure out. I'm sorry to confuse you.
You also said that your mother picked ferns. Are they like ferns like we would see here? Like we eat like the fiddleheads, which is the beginning shoots of the fern, but is your mother picking like the beginning shoots? It didn't look like it. It looked like the whole plant. Is that correct?
Yeah, actually, I never go picking with her, do the foraging with her, so I need to ask her more about that. But yeah, it is usually brown, and then it has some green part on the top. Sometimes I saw it on the market, but I'm more familiar with the brown part. But I'm not sure if it is exactly same variety of those kind of fern that we usually see other in America or other parts. Yeah, thank you.
茼蒿菜。只有在那个 chat box 里面 post 的一个是茼蒿菜吗？ 你们刚才我们说的是
茼蒿菜 I don't think exactly. It may be very close, right? It's maybe in the same family, but I don't think it's exactly that vegetable because actually in my family, like my mom like 茼蒿a lot and use it hot for the hot pot, but I think it's a kind of different variety. Yeah, but thank you for the suggestion.
So okay, any other questions? 没有啦。
没有了。
Okay, one
Yeah,
more
okay.
question.
Okay, Karen.
Sorry. Will you send out the chat along with the recording or with the emails? Because I don't know if you're recording this. I imagine you capture the chat too, because it has lots of things in there that I would like to, capture. Is that possible?
I can try, but we only posted the recording, so not the chat. So I will look back to that and see if how can we send it to you. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. And also the recording will be available on the YouTube channel of China Institute. So and we will also send everyone a follow-up email so with the recording link. So and if you have any questions, so feel free to get back to me. 艾草 艾草 偏 says it's 艾草 I think 艾草 is made for 青团 what 朴老师 mentioned, but I don't know if it's the same thing.
Yeah, it's similar, but I'm not sure if it is exactly the same.
Yeah,
that's I think what very interesting about this different ways of people calling it and also recognizing it, also describing it, right? Like that's how this culture like matters into the food and our knowledge about food as well. So this is very interesting.
Yeah. 林杰说是豆芽。
Oh. In douya, actually, in our area, we call douya is the bean sprout of the yellow bean or mung bean. We call it douya, but
yeah, maybe it's different things. Okay, I think that will be all for today. So if you have no more questions, and thank you everyone, 谢谢大家 for joining us today. And looking forward to see you at China Institute in the exhibition, or just to stop by, visit us, let me know. So we are located at the Lower Manhattan, China Institute, New York City. So thank you very much. I think I will see you next month, right? The first Friday of next month, of April. Okay, thank you everyone. And have a good weekend. 谢谢。
Thank you， 谢谢，
再见，周末愉
thank you for
快。
organizing it. Thank you for coming.
谢谢你们。
Thank you for coming. 谢谢 Guy， 谢谢朴老师。
谢谢林老师 organize it.
Okay, thank you everyone. See you next time.
See you. Bye.
Bye，再见，再见。
再见，再见。